The latest NFL news could have a major impact to the Saints offense, and I'm going to explain my case here on Saints Now by Chat Sports. My name is Trizzy Trace Girouard. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's video. And coming up, NFL news around the Baltimore Ravens I think could benefit the New Orleans Saints next season. Obviously, we have to get to the offseason, but this year for New Orleans is already over. So we're going to look ahead and talk about how the Saints could potentially upgrade at the tight end position. Now, before we get into the latest around Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely, and the New Orleans Saints, friendly reminder to hit the sub button, support us, and help us reach our next milestone of 53,000 subscribers. Need 721 of you to hit the button today. I don't expect it all in one video. However, be a lot cooler if we did. What do you get if you subscribe? Daily Saints content by Saints fans for Saints fans for 100% free. Now, Mike Garafolo, he recently reported yesterday on December 3rd that Mark Andrews, he inked a 3-year, $39.3 million extension, including $26 million guaranteed. And I got to say, for the Baltimore Ravens, shout out to Mark Andrews. Congratulations to him on getting that money. But we're not talking about Mark Andrews. There's another player that could actually swap out the purple and gold for some black and gold. Now, how does this impact the Saints? Well, Isaiah Likely. Right now, he could be slated to be a free agent this offseason. As it stands, he will be a free agent whenever the season ends. And the New Orleans Saints do have a need at the tight end position. They could afford to add a little bit of juice there, whether it's in the draft or in free agency. And Isaiah Likely could be a player that could provide some impact to the New Orleans Saints offense. As it stands right now, he is a free agent. The Ravens just extended Mark Andrews, giving me reason to believe that Isaiah Likely, he is on the way out. Now, let's get to know this player a little bit better. He's a 4th-round pick in 2022 out of Coastal Carolina, 139th overall selection. And one thing has been very clear throughout his tenure in Baltimore, he's got talent. He has flashes. He's somebody that can make an impact. And he's somebody that when his number is called on, he can come through for whatever offense he's on. However, he just hasn't really been able to break out. He's only 25 years old, too, so that's something that's really enticing to me. He's young. You could get him, not going to say super cheap, but fairly inexpensive, in my opinion. Like, you're paying Jawan Johnson $10 million a year, 8, 9, 10 million for Isaiah Likely. I don't think that's that terrible of a contract for him, but he's been buried in the Baltimore Ravens offense. He has to compete for snaps with Lamar Jackson, who obviously is the quarterback, but a rushing threat as well. Derrick Henry, one of the best running backs in the league. Mark Andrews, one of the best tight ends in football. And Zay Flowers, a really explosive wide receiver. So, of course, his numbers are going to take some hits whenever he isn't able to snaps or get passes because he has so many weapons around him. Now, throughout his tenure in Baltimore, again, he's shown flashes. He hasn't been consistent. He hasn't been able to break through. But that's, in my opinion, because he has been buried on the depth chart. You see in 2024, 2023, 2022, his stats are very productive, but in 2025, the numbers, I'm not going to say have dipped, but they haven't been as good as you would hope to see, which is why I think the Baltimore Ravens are opting to keep Mark Andrews around and let Isaiah Likely test free agency. And I do think that the New Orleans Saints need to get more out of their tight ends. I think they need to get more production. I think they need to get more consistency. I think they need to get more usage. I think they need to get more versatility. I think that they could be better in terms of blocking. I think they could be better in terms of the receiving abilities. And quite frankly, the tight end position in Kellen Moore's offenses have always been a key part of that. And the best offenses that Kellen Moore has ever run got a lot out of their tight end position. So personally, I would like to see the Saints add to the tight end room, whether it's free agency, draft, however, don't really care, but they should be looking to bring in some more juice to the tight end room. What about Isaiah Likely? Would you sign him? Would you pass on him? Type S for sign, type P for pass. Personally, I would be open to kicking the tires here, but honestly, I don't hate the idea of just saying, you know what? Let's draft a guy day 2 or day 3. Now, the tight end depth chart in New Orleans is as follows. Jawan Johnson, Foster Moreau, and Jack Stoll are your tight ends 1, 2, and 3. Taysom Hill is obviously in the mix here, but he's not a true tight end, so I kind of just put an asterisk next to him. Zaire Payton-Mitchell, he's somebody that also could be part of the offense. Probably not. No disrespect to him. He just isn't that high level of a player. No disrespect, but you need high-end talent. And somebody, in my opinion, who's been slightly lacking throughout this season is Foster Moreau. And granted, the role for Foster Moreau has been different, sort of. Also, he's been battling back from injury. He's been having to get healthy. He's been having to get on the field. That's part of it, too. So, I'm not going to take everything away and say Foster Moreau's a bust. We got to get rid of him. He sucks. That's not it at all. I think he's a great leader. I think he's somebody that is really impactful to the Saints offense whenever he gets going. I just don't think that he gets going often enough. And so for me, I personally think that tight end is a position that the Saints need, but it's not a massive priority. You don't have to spend ridiculous amounts of money on a tight end. You also don't have to draft one in round 1, 2, or 3. You can go and add a tight end, and it can be a non-high investment, whether it's draft pick or contracts. I do think, though, that tight end is a need. But I'll go back to this. It's just not a massive priority. You got to add one, but if it's between a receiver, a DB, a guard, or a tight end's going to be at the bottom of my list there, but still would add one. And whether it's through the draft or free agency, you have options. There are players available. We're going to show you a list of players that the Saints could potentially sign or draft here in a minute, but I think that when it comes to the tight end position, the New Orleans Saints, they're getting nice things from Jawan Johnson, but it is very fair to say for the long term and for the sake of raising the overall talent level of the offense, that is something New Orleans, Kellen Moore, and Mickey Loomis should heavily consider. Adding a tight end through free agency. Personally, I would prefer, though, the draft. Now, guys, we do have a pretty sweet deal going for you. Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, all the holidays, they're right around the corner. And I know you still need to get some gifts for some loved ones. We got gifts right here for you. Chatsports.com/Saints Jersey. A huge jersey sale going on. If you click the link in the comments or description of this video, or you just search this in your URL bar. We got the home. We got the away. We got men, women, children sizes. We got color rush. We got throwbacks. We got the golds. Name a player, we got a jersey for you. Click the link down below to get jerseys on sale today. The sale is limited, so make sure you go and take advantage of it. Chatsports.com/Saints Jerseys. Get swagged out thanks to this link down below. Now, in terms of the draft, I think that my top 5 tight ends, in no particular order, Oregon's Kenyon Sadiq, Vanderbilt's Eli Stowers, who also does have experience as a quarterback, think that he could be a really interesting overall weapon for the Saints offense. Not calling him the next Taysom Hill, but weapon for the Saints offense nonetheless. Max Clare, a really nice tight end that can pretty much do whatever you want. He's really well-rounded. Jack Endries, a really nice route runner. He can provide a little bit in the blocking aspect as well. And Michael Trigg out of Baylor, I think that he would be a fine addition as well, especially in rounds 3 or 4. I think that you could land one of these guys, especially like Stowers, Clare, Endries, or Trigg. Later on, Kenyon Sadiq, I do think will be the top tight end taken in this draft class. So let's say you don't want to draft one. You want to just take it off the need list going into free agency or going into the NFL draft. Let's just go ahead and sign one right here, right now. I don't think Travis Kelce is going anywhere but retirement or to Taylor Swift's house. David Njoku, really interested in signing him. The Chief is a very high-level player, and I actually had the opportunity to talk to him during Super Bowl week. Said he loves gumbo. Definitely wouldn't mind getting him some gumbo. Dallas Goedert, 30 years old, has experience and won a Super Bowl with Kellen Moore, so maybe he opts to bring in a familiar face. Kyle Pitts, no thank you. And Tyler Higbee at 32 years old, also an option. Kyle Pitts, we'll call it what it is, a terrible draft pick, a waste of a top 10 selection. That being said, if you were able to pay him not that much money and he came to New Orleans and balled out, that objectively would be the funniest thing of all time. Now, Jawan Johnson, I feel like we've had this conversation without addressing him and giving him his flowers because he does deserve some credit. He has actually been one of the best tight ends this year, believe it or not. He's turned things up in a major way over the last few weeks specifically, but honestly, since the beginning of the season, he had that drop. Again, it wasn't even a drop in week 1, a really good pass breakup by the Cardinals defensive backs. Ever since that play happened, Saints fans have been really disappointed, really have had a lot to say about this player. He's been Jawan Dropson, I've seen him be called on social media. I've seen him get flamed all over there. You guys may need to slow it down here, pump the brakes a little bit. He's the 5th leading receiver in tight ends across the league. Only behind Trey McBride, who's a freak. Tyler Warren, dog. Travis Kelce, pretty much the only weapon that Patrick Mahomes has right now, so naturally he's going to get a lot of touches. Hunter Henry, he's been really good. But Jawan Johnson is right there, too, in the mix. And I think that Jawan Johnson is somebody that the New Orleans Saints paid to take a step. And to answer the question, has he taken a step? I'd say yeah. I would say in terms of the money that you paid him, a 3-year, $30.75 million contract, the annual value is $10.25 million. That's the annual value for this player. I think they are more than getting their return on their investment. You're 13th in annual average value, or average annual value. He's 13th in money he makes per year among all tight ends. And he's top 5 in production. That is called getting a return on your investment. That is called taking a step and doing the right things. You're not paying him to be the number 1 tight end in the league. You're not paying him to be the number 5 tight end in the league. You're paying him to be average, and he is playing at an above average level. If he can kind of get through some of the drop issues, if he can clearly continue this development with Tyler Shough and that chemistry continues to grow, that's obviously very strong there. I think that Jawan Johnson and the New Orleans Saints offense and the tight end room specifically are headed in the right direction for the long term, making this investment that a lot of people are unhappy with definitely worth the money. Now, how big of a need is tight end this offseason? For me, I would put the number at like 65. Like, I would not put it at super duper high, but I would say the Saints should consider bringing in a tight end. In my opinion, the draft, but Isaiah Likely could be a really, really intriguing option for New Orleans. Appreciate you guys for rocking and roll with us here on Saints Now by Chat Sports. My name is Trizzy Trace Girouard. The NFL recently had some news around Mark Andrews getting extended, meaning Isaiah Likely is expendable and could become a free agent for the Baltimore Ravens. The Saints could maybe upgrade at the tight end position. Should they do it? Should they not? Let me know your thoughts, and don't forget to subscribe. We will see you next time.